Now, the best and the easiest way to understand anything is, of course, to actually see it in a live demonstration. Now, I know a live demo in front of a group of experts is risky, but I've asked Pete Hansen from the Sprint Applied Technology Center in Kansas City to help me show you how Sprint Ion works. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Bill. I guess you could say I'm going to be the hands part of this hands-on demo.
Well, you have your work cut out for you because I think we have an awful lot to show. Sprint Ion offers a full range of services for a variety of user applications, everything from the integrated large business solution to the consumer market. But today, since this is a business-oriented audience, we're going to focus on large business and small business home office capabilities. Pete?
Right, but before we begin, I'd like to reiterate that this is a live, fully operational demo. It contains no simulations, no smoke and mirrors. This technology works.
We're going to show you some things we haven't shown anyone before, including some key network elements like the Sprint service node. Pete?
Right. This bank of equipment lies at the heart of the Sprint Ion network. We already have Ion deployed in 26 cities around the country, and in those places we have installations very similar to this. You're looking at an ATM edge switch, which we're using to provide services to larger customers, and a DSL access multiplexer, or DSLAM, to deliver broadband solutions to small businesses, telecommuters, and ordinary households. Now, as you can see, we've run cabling from the service node to the integrated services hub in each of the areas. To my left is a kitchen area where we have the consumer set up. Straight ahead is an area for large business. And to my right is the small office, home office setup.
One of the problems that small businesses always have had is that they can't afford the big pipes that large companies have. And that has limited their ability to compete.
That's right, and we have a solution. A typical home office like the one I'm stepping into right now usually has a line coming in for the telephone, another one for the fax machine, and yet another one for intranet service. In the worst case, the small office may have only one line and try to run all those devices off of it. You can imagine the problem that creates. Something like video conferencing is all but impossible because you just don't have the bandwidth. But imagine if you could run all those functions off just one connection and have bandwidth to spare.
I think we may have some skeptics in the audience, Pete.
All right. Well, look at this. This is our integrated services hub, a small device that we install on the customer premises. Here on the back plane, I have connections for the telephone, fax, and LAN. From the front of the hub, going into the network, I have just this one connection. This is the very same physical copper twisted pair that we have installed in all of our homes today. The difference is that this one has been provisioned with ADSL service. Now, this line goes back down into the raceway and into the DSLAM in the Sprint service node.
Are those special computers or phones?
No, absolutely not. The computers and the phones are all standard off-the-shelf units. The secret is the hub. Simply put, the hub takes any protocols that a customer is running on their premises, converts them to ATM, and then sends them out over the network as an ATM cell stream. Now, this has a couple of advantages. First, you don't have to change anything behind the hub. If you've been running frame relay, it'll still look and smell and feel like frame relay to you. If you've been running IP, it's still IP, and so forth. It's only when it gets to the hub that it becomes ATM. Now, that conversion to ATM brings me to the second advantage, more efficient use of your access lines. You'll no longer need the expense and hassle of separate pipes for every service or protocol you want to run. Your access bandwidth can be allocated dynamically, on demand, for any service you're running based on the needs of the moment. And because it's ATM, you can assign different classes of service for every protocol. The best for voice or video, the lowest for IP or email.
Show us some more, if you will, Pete.
Okay. Now, for this demo, we'll be using asymmetrical digital subscriber line, or ADSL, with 6 to 8 megabits of bandwidth downstream and 1 megabit upstream. But what's really important is how the customer accesses the bandwidth via a graphical user interface that's easy to use and understand. This is the Ion Desktop Manager, or DTM. Now, thanks to this web-enabled technology, users can just point and click to access any content, services, or applications they want. Now, I should point out that the DTM you're seeing here is an early prototype. When we roll Ion out to the consumer and small business markets later this year, the interface will have a different look, but it will include all the functionality I'm about to describe here. Now, the buttons along the bottom are user-definable so that they can be set up for websites that you visit a lot. A simple click is all it takes to access information about sports, stocks, weather, news, even a TV programming guide.
What are the gray buttons along the side? Tell us about those.
Okay, well, this is where the real Ion functionality resides, enabling the user to instantly do things like personalize their phone service, gain access to video, email, or the internet. For example, by clicking on this account management icon, users can customize or rearrange their phone service, turning caller ID, call forwarding, call waiting, or three-way calling on or off based on their current needs.
Which means you can choose to pay only for the services that you use?
That's right, and most importantly, you're in control of your telecommunications services. You can even add a virtual phone line on demand or get a complete log of your calling activity.
That all sounds great, but I think what everyone really wants to see is how Sprint Ion lets you initiate multiple simultaneous sessions over a single phone line.
Okay, then let's do it. Let's start with a video conference. I'm launching a desktop video call at 384 kilobits per second, and I'm calling my colleague, Angela Buccigrossi. Now, as you can see, our connection is already going through, and there she is. Hi, Angela.
Hey, Pete, how's it going?
Just fine, thanks. Thanks for joining us today. You know, folks, since this demonstration of Sprint Ion gives us 8 megabits per second downstream and 1 megabit upstream, even for small or home office customers, we have more than enough bandwidth for this modest application. This is an off-the-shelf desktop video system, and it also allows us to collaborate on any application.
Even though this is modest bandwidth by Sprint Ion standards, that's something you can't do using conventional modem technologies. At best, they only support 56 kilobits per second, and even with an ISDN line, you can only get 128 kilobits max.
That's right. So for any of you application developers out there, you're looking at an opportunity with images from the desktop video system. Right now, almost no one has written an algorithm for more than 384 at the desktop. But with the bandwidth of Ion, there's an opportunity for a high-resolution video system. It used to take 3 relatively expensive ISDN lines to do this kind of desktop video and collaboration, and even then, you couldn't carry on a simultaneous phone call over those lines.
Because of the bandwidth that Sprint Ion offers, you can do that, and you can do it cost effectively. In fact, get ready, because I'm going to call you right now using this Sprint PCS phone.
Here's my phone. Hi, this is Pete at the Sprint Ion Demo Center.
Hi, Pete.
As you can see, I didn't have to terminate my video session in order to take your call. But we're not finished yet. Let me keep this call up, and we're going out to the web now to do some surfing.
With Sprint Ion, you're on the net all the time. Right, Pete?
Yep, that's right. You don't have to dial up access to the internet. You just select the internet icon and you're there. So right now, I'm going to download an 8 megabyte file, which represents about 2,000 pages of single-space text.
And we can get that done before this demonstration is over? These people have a lot to do.
Well, with a 28.8 modem, it would take at least 90 minutes, but with Sprint Ion, it only takes about 20 seconds. Plus, it's doing it while we continue our phone call and the desktop video session, and even while we're downloading the file, the voice remains toll quality.
That would mean that the Sprint Ion solution is 200 times faster than a 28.8 modem and 100 times faster than a 56 kilobit modem.
That's right, and what's more, because the services don't have to compete for bandwidth as they would with an IP-only solution, there's no voice quality degradation. Sprint Ion delivers the voice quality consumers expect and demand. And we don't need multiple phone lines to make it all happen. everything is running over the same line at the same time.
Well, with that kind of speed, you could download things like interactive video games and video on demand.
Absolutely. Whatever content is available can be quickly accessed with a simple mouse click on these buttons right here. And what's more, users can also enjoy a virtual presence in their office while they're at home, including capabilities like PBX functionality, billing, and security.
That means that work at home can become a reality because remote employees can have access to the same kinds of communication services they have at their corporate offices.
That's right, Bill. And that's a great segue to the large business setup we have over here. Now, I'm not going to take you through a full-fledged demo over here because you'd see many of the same things you've already seen. But Sprint Ion allows a large business to converge all its various networks into the integrated services hub for large business. IP, frame relay, voice, video, data, fax, they all feed directly into the hub. Now, if you're managing all these networks today, you're constantly upgrading. You're worried about the latest technology, and you also have to keep staff on hand to keep those networks running.
And Sprint Ion offers a solution to that problem.
Right, because with Sprint Ion, a large business is future-proofed. First, Sprint installs the hub, and then we manage everything from the hub on. We'll upgrade the hub to the latest technology, and we take great pride in our network. As you've said many times, Bill, it'll always be leading edge. Now, since the business customer doesn't have to manage multiple networks, it frees up valuable technical talent for other, more critical needs. And also, if both my office and my home are on Sprint Ion, I suddenly have a virtual presence in the office. I have access to that LAN at speeds comparable to those in the office. I can video conference, I can exchange data, I can do things I've never been able to do before.
We only have a few minutes left, Pete. What's with the kitchen over there?
Well, that's our home demo area. We chose the kitchen for the demo to make a point. As we well know, almost every device in the home has a computer chip in it,